More confirmed cases tonight in New York and Los Angeles.
That we direct a statewide order for people to stay at home.
So we're going to put out an executive order today. New York State on pause.
Joining California in urging the general public to wear non-medical face coverings to stop the virus.
Like we knew it was coming.
By one count, over 1 million have now been infected by coronavirus worldwide.
New York City paramedics are no longer taking patients to hospitals unless they have a pulse.
I think we can do much, much better than we're doing right now.
My name is Navik Nanbai, and I'm a director, writer, editor, cinematographer, and photographer based in LA.
So my name is Mark Villegas. I am 21 years old. I go to the New School, specifically Parsons School of Design.
I'm Stacy Lee. I'm 19. I go to Parsons for communication design, and I minor in film.
Before the pandemic, I was really just in school making short films with my friends. But once the pandemic hit, I did go back home to Washington State, where I think I was somewhat demotivated. And I think that just had to do with I wasn't with friends, and I went from a very social college environment to just at home, and especially in Washington, it's cloudy and super gloomy all the time.
Quarantine hit, March 2020. Between then and whenever I had my first day of classes at Parsons, I honestly don't remember making anything. I think space is really important as an artist, trying to be in a certain space that allows you to be the most creative, and I didn't really get that at home. So for the beginning part of quarantine, I didn't really create that much.
I was honestly really restricted in my room because I can only do so much since I couldn't go to the art store, or I couldn't buy any supplies for any more paintings. Once my last canvas ran out, I pretty much just stayed in bed and just watched Netflix.
I went through different waves of just not feeling motivated and then feeling motivated again. But I kind of took this time to focus on myself and also learn a lot of new skills, because film school it wasn't teaching me what I wanted remotely, and just being online, it just wasn't teaching me the skills that I needed. So I just took it upon myself to learn new skills that would help me become a better filmmaker.
I had to think about that problem where it's the pandemic, I'm not working. I need to choose between if I should spend it wisely and if it's spending art supplies is worth it.
I mean, yeah, the depression was great for my art. I got a lot of ideas. I think it helped me figure out a lot of themes that I like working around, the idea of self and liminal spaces. And so I think I made a lot of things that the end product I'm pretty happy with, but the process was absolute hell.
Due to isolation, I thought about my ethos, the ethics of my life and the way I view the world. And so I created a piece called Looking Through the Glass, and it was pretty much a living room, and I used different furnitures resembling my life and who I am as a person and what I view important, and I used different types of yarn and strings to attach which ones, and the tightness and the looseness represented how much I struggle between the specific themes. So yeah, looking back at it, that was one of my favorite installations that I've created so far.
I wanted to make something silly and comedic, given how crazy COVID is. So I did want to make something that would take people out of this serious world, this serious reality, and just bring them into something that was funny and very lighthearted, something that they could laugh at. So I had this one idea fixed in my head. It was that I would jump off my stairs in my house. That was the only image I had in my head. And I knew I wanted to make a film based off of that. And so I went through multiple drafts of the script. When I finally landed on this idea, I just basically shot it. It was a lot of fun to make because I acted, shot, directed, pretty much everything. I was a one-man crew.
I've been getting a lot more into like the storytelling aspect of my art. Honestly, if I think about it, I feel like typography really works with that because, you know, obviously use words to tell stories. And if you really like learn and utilize typography, you can like really play around with that. And also in other contexts like poetry, like I started to get into concrete poetry as well, which is kind of like, I describe it as like painting with words. It's like utilizing not just the words, but also like the type, the size, the layout, the composition of it all. I've just been expanding on that for a while now. And I think animation has been my latest stage where I can like tell a full story through video. And when you get this like element of like movement and time in there, it can like flow a lot better. And I think it just tells like the story in a much smoother and more explained way because I feel like I can get more into like the depths of it and get more into details that allow me to express my ideas a lot better.
Possibilities are endless, and that the reason why I'm here is to do as much as I can because of the restriction I felt and what so little materials I had in my house.
The pandemic really helped me experiment with different styles. I do a lot of photography, and I went through a phase where I was just doing things I'd never done before visually. So that helped me because now I'm working on projects where I'm drawing from those experiences of creating those certain visuals and applying it to the work I'm doing now.
This might be kind of controversial. I think like it was really bad for me, but at the same time, like I don't hate it. Like I'm not like mad that I went through that, and I'm glad that it like, you know, I had like art there as some way to describe it or some way to like do something with it instead of just like sitting in my bed.
And then when you can finally move the rest of your body, it feels weird. It hurts. Well, it doesn't hurt, but you know how if you submerge super hot glass into ice water, it just shatters? That's what it is. It's every atom in my body doing a line of coke. The 5 seconds after waking up is like my body's on a high. But the crash, that lasts till the next sleep. I find myself wiggling my toes throughout the day, just to make sure I'm really